Are you ready for a reboot? Welcome to the Sheila Mack Show, reality at its finest. History reminds us those hit hardest often become the change makers. This year, we've all hit crazy economic, social, and emotional rock bottoms. We all get knocked down. Something hits globally, locally, personally. It affects our health, finances, our relationships. We have to recreate a business or career. Each show, Sheila and her special guest will be sharing their reboot stories, guiding you with real solutions to upgrade and up-level emotionally, mentally, physically, spiritually, and financially. Here on NBC's KCAA Radio. If you're ready to pull yourself up by the bootstraps and bra straps, enjoy a listen. Here's Sheila.
Okay.
Welcome to the Sheila Mack Show, reality at its finest. Here we have real people sharing real stories and actionable steps to help you reinvent, rebuild, and reboot your business and personal life on your terms. I'm your host, Sheila Mack, and today we have special guest, Allie Michaels-Clark. Allie has over 30 years in sales and leadership and 16 years in personal development. Allie has a passion for results and exponentially taking a business or an individual to transcend, transform, and triumph. Her approach is real, raw, and authentic, yet totally unconventional. After watching her single mother work 18 hours a day, 7 days a week, I'm tired just reading that, watching her only earning $3.84 an hour, she vowed that she would not succumb to that way of life and made it her mission to be financially free and never be dependent on anyone, but have the knowledge and the resources to take her life, relationships, and business, as well as her finances, to financial freedom. Allie has spent 3 decades learning from the best personal development coaches, business and financial minds such as Jim Rohn, Tony Robbins, Gary Vee, Harry Dent, Dr. John DeMartini, and she's developed a 5-step system which she teaches today. Fueled by her love of traveling and being a global citizen speaking 4 languages, she will be the first to proclaim what you don't have to settle for, this life you were born into. With the right mindset, a plan, and consistent action, you can have everything you've ever wanted. Yes. With your mindset, it determines your life, your beliefs, your action, and your choices. All right. So welcome to the show, Allie.
Hi, Sheila. Thank you for having me. Hi, everybody. Pleasure to be here today.
And my first thing that I always like to start off the show with is based on my new best-selling book, Bootstraps and Bra Straps, the formula to go from rock bottom.
Yes, congratulations.
Thank you. In any situation, I'd love to ask you about a time, maybe you can share with the audience, a time in your life or your business where you hit a tough situation and how you got back on track.
Well, Sheila, I would love to share one time, but the truth is there are many, many, many times where we failed, or I failed, where the business that I was in failed, where I did hit rock bottom, or if not rock bottom, very close to that. And gosh, let me pick one. I think, as an entrepreneur, it's really I guess it's also the way we are as human beings. We really want to serve and to give. I'm sorry, I'm hearing a lot of echoing. I can go on, but I'm just hearing.
Yes. Hang on. I think I have a fix for that. One moment.
Okay.
We've had technological difficulties this morning, and it's wonderful because it just shows us that we are resilient. And
yes, raw and real. Raw and real.
That's right. We do not give up. We just keep on going on. Okay, so 1 minute. I'm going to plug in a different mic, and it's going to make a big difference. Hang on.
Okay.
All right. So here we go. Now, how's this?
Oh, I can hear you perfectly now. And
yes.
I cannot hear myself. That's great.
Perfect.
Okay, so where were we? So a time that I hit rock bottom. Well, like I said, it hasn't been just one time. I like the saying of the more you fail, the more you actually get up and you succeed, or the closer it brings you to success. And I also love the saying that there is really no such thing as failure. There's just lessons. So the times that it felt like that, were usually because of a few reasons. One is that I didn't have the clarity as to what I wanted to do with the business or where I wanted to take it. And I'm talking about how I wanted to grow it, how, if I wanted to sell it, what would that look like, how I wanted to get new leads, how I wanted to make more sales, how I wanted to make my customers happy, how I wanted to make my team happy. So clarity is a big step in actually getting from, well, when you hit rock bottom, from actually helping you get up and continue, but also clarity overall is so that you don't hit rock bottom, you know, because as soon as I got refocused into what my mission was, what I was trying to achieve, things again started to move on. I got momentum and off I went. And therefore it was easier for me to keep on going. So definitely clarity is number one. The other thing that, you know, sometimes gets us down is the fact that we don't have enough sales. So if you're, for example, running a cash flow business, you want to be able to know how much of your sales are coming in to be able to pay your employees, your expenses, the grounds that if you have, you know, if you have a bricks and mortar business and so forth. So knowing the sales or knowing how many sales you need. And again, if you're clear in your vision and if you're clear in what it is that you want to achieve financially. So for example, in all my businesses, I always start with how much money do I want to make today? Okay. So for example, when I ran my Airbnb business, it was like, how much of bookings do I want to get today? And it was usually about $5,000 a day. And I have to be honest and tell you, the days that I was fully committed to that number were the days that I was actually booking it. And I can give you like, you know, because actually, funnily enough, I actually, for 90 days, I monitored it day by day. And I've got to tell you that out of the 90 days that I monitored, it was 47 days that I actually reached that goal out of the 90 days. Wow. The other days that I did not wasn't because of anything other than I was not focused on it, meaning I got distracted. So it's really simple for us to start businesses and then get distracted, just like it is, for example, you know, if I'm trying to lose weight, for example, or if I want to eat more healthy, if I'm not focused on that, it's really easy to sort of say, hey, I have a coffee, which turns into coffee and cake, which turns into, you know, a dinner, which turns into overeating more than I should have. So business is exactly the same thing. You really need to focus on what it is that you're actually trying to achieve and what it is that you're actually have in front of you as a target. So for me, having that number, that's how I used to start every morning. You know, how much money do I actually want to bring in today? For me, I know a lot of people may kind of have that love-hate relationship with numbers and with money. For me, like I said, I mean, I watched my mother work a lot for $3.84 an hour, 7 days a week. And on the weekends, we would get up. She was a machinist, so she worked in a factory. She couldn't speak English when we came to Australia. My background's Australian. I know I don't sound it anymore. But and on the weekends, we would go to these so-called trash and treasure markets, which is kind of like the flea markets that you guys have, where she would grab the garments from her work. And she would on consignment, and then she would try to sell them to make, you know, 50 cents a garment and so forth. But back then, this is a long time ago, you had no protection from the sun, so you had no umbrellas, you had none of that. And I was like, I remember literally watching the sweat dribble on her cheek. And I said to myself, there is no way I want to have this life where, I mean, I saw her, she was miserable, you know, she was miserable. She didn't eat properly. She didn't sleep properly. She was always worried about paying money. She was always worried about what she had to do to take care of the family, put food on the table, pay the bills. You know, at the time she was trying to save money to buy a house. And she actually had bought the house. And this is back in '88 when the interest rates in Australia had reached like 18%. So I remember the property had gone to auction. It had sold for $7,000 more than what she was prepared to. And then literally straight after that, she had this 18%, you know, tax. I don't know how she did it, but she did. So I really, from an early time, I grew this relationship with money, but for me, it was really fun. I mean, I remember at these trash and treasure or flea markets, whatever you want to call them, I started by borrowing $1 from her. And at the time, I was 8 years old. And at the time, I went and I bought if you remember back in the day, there were like these really fragrant erasers in all different, shapes. So, strawberry and a little rocket and a dog and a whatever. And I would buy them for like 5-10 cents, and I would sell them at school or primary school on the Monday for like 20 cents, 30 cents, 40 cents, and so forth. And that taught me some amazing skills. It taught me how to have, a clientele based, but it also taught me negotiation and influencing. And I think that's a super skill that I've always had ever since I can remember, ever since back in those days, together with, of course, sales. So I'm pretty proud to say that I guess I've been in sales now for 40 years. God, that kind of tells you my age, right? But it's true. I've been in sales for decades, and I love to sell. But one of the things about sales, and anybody that's an entrepreneur sells. I mean, that's what we do, because you're selling the service or you're selling the product. It's sell, sell, sell. And in order to sell, you really need to know your numbers, because if you don't know your numbers, you can be overspending. You can just not be getting in that cash flow that you require, or making those sales. And it's really important to really have a great connection with money and with numbers. And, they say the root of all evil is money. Well, I totally disagree with that, because, they also say, and I totally agree with this one, I would rather cry in a Lamborghini than on my push bike, but it's really not about, money for me today is all about freedom. The more money I have, the more freedom I have to be able to share that with the people that I love. So, for example, not only with my family, but also I'm a big animal advocate. I love animals, and a lot of my money is given away to charity, to animal charities. That's what makes me happy. I also give money to women charities and children charities. That's what makes me happy. But, if I didn't have it, it would be harder for me to give to the extent that I do. And this is why I urge everybody to sort of rethink their relationship with money, and to come from a place of pure love and intention to actually serve everybody else around you and everybody else in your family, in your community, as it is to whatever other your misconceptions may have been or perceptions may have been about it.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I love the fact that you really started at 8 years old.
Yeah, not by choice. The other reason was, Sheila, that I never got pocket money. So, I wasn't one of the cool kids. Australia back then was actually racist because I look Middle Eastern. So I used to be called, Lebanese, which was a little offensive to us back then. So I never got the pocket money, and I got my sport money, which was on a Friday, but I never got my pocket money, which included the canteen dollar chicken burger. Now I no longer eat chicken anymore. I'm completely vegetarian, but I used to love these chicken burgers, and it was $1. So it was for like, I wanted to be part of the cool kids. And it was like, okay, well, what do I need to do to be part of the cool kids? And, even like now, through all the personal development that I've gone through, I realized that what I was actually doing was really asking better questions. So rather than, complaining and sort of saying, why can't I have it, or I don't have it, or accepting the reality of not having it, I created my own reality. And again, as an entrepreneur, I think it's really important to know that you can tap into that, and the way to do that is through having clarity. The way to do that is to actually having a plan to get you there, and twisting it and twitching it and turning it every time it doesn't work to get you closer to your goal. It's also having the consistency and continuing going and not stopping at the little failures in life. It's having that focus that no matter what happens, no matter the distractions, you don't stop. And it's also having that the love for people, so that you actually do share your gifts with others, and you share, all the money that you have is great. But at the end of the day, if you're not sharing it with anybody, I can tell you, or you're sick, which is worse, I can tell you, you might as well not bother, And it was interesting, because looking back now, I saw myself as asking the right questions, which again is a tool that I use today, and I teach my clients today, because a lot of us don't get to ask questions. And I'm not going to say the right questions, because there's no right or wrong question. However, there are questions that will pull you forward to where you want to go, and there are questions that will, propel you and push you back. But in my eyes, there's no really right or wrong question, but it is in terms of getting you to your goal or pushing you away from it. So if I'm going to, ask victimizing type questions like, why did this happen to me? Or how can I not do this? Or why aren't I good enough to do this? Obviously, I'm going to be pushed further away to my goal. But if I ask empowering questions like, okay, how can I increase my sales? How can I get more leads? Who can I work with to get me to that $20,000 KPI this month? Or, to sell off my idea or whatever. Those types of questions are going to actually pull me into the direction, into the future that I desire to choose and that I'm creating and I'm building.
Wow. Well, for those listening in, if you have young children, it is never too early to start. Obviously, I also was 8 years old when I found.
Oh, high five.
Yes. 8 years old. It's a magic number, I think. I found
Love it.
Think and Grow Rich book at the neighbor's garage sale. They were moving, and I was already cleaning houses, helping out cleaning houses to all the neighbors to make money. And
right.
It was really interesting because there was a hunger. So don't overspoil your kids, because I promise you it won't help. And, for me, my mother was in an abusive home. I was in an abusive home, and my goal was, I got this Think and Grow Rich book, and I thought, wow, I want to grow rich so I can help my mom. And this little 8-year-old kid. And, I ended up working a lot. I did so much that later on, I was homeless 10 to 13 because my mom said go. And, I called her every day, but she was not able to care for me. And there's so much to that in my book. But at any rate, I was able to buy her a home later on in life and help
I
her
love that.
tremendously. And it was because of the book and the hunger to help and give back. And so connecting to the reason, the big why. Why do we wake up and go to work in the morning? Money's nice, right, and we want to have money, but there's got to be a purpose and people and the commitment behind that. To who are you helping? How does it affect all those people in your life? Contributing to causes that you believe in. How can it change the world with what you're doing? And that makes all the difference. So for those listening in, I'd love for you to share maybe some tips and pointers if they are looking to maybe get into sales or get into business for the first time on their own because they've been working for someone else. And now with our universal pause pandemic, they've had to switch over to working for themselves. Do you have any tips?
Well, here's the thing. The way the world is now, I mean, it'll never be the same as it was before, but that's the reality of it. But we are at the perfect time where anybody, anywhere around the world, because everything is now, everything was there was a lot of digital stuff before, but now it's like 90% more. And it's beautiful because whatever your hobby, whatever your idea, whatever your creation, whatever your dream that you had hidden, or that you allowed fear to stop you or to freeze you from actually moving forward, propelling you forward, because, what will people think, and getting in your head and maybe not knowing how to do it, or not knowing, the right steps to take, or, hey, what if I fail? That little voice in your head. Well, now you can actually go ahead with that. And here's the thing. There's fear inside all of us. I'd be a liar to say I don't have any fear. I don't have any self-doubt at times, because we're human. And that's unfortunately the beauty and the beast part of both of it, because it's beautiful because, we are human, and at the same time, we can use that fear to actually propel us forward into where we want to go. So for those of you that want to start your own business or have been thinking about it, there's no better time than now. A couple of things to really think of, and as my recommendation would be, one, get really clear on what it is that you're actually trying to do. As Sheila said, what is the purpose? What's the big reason for you in that service? Because you need to really, it has to be a reason bigger than you. And I'm not talking about money, because it's easy to make money. I'm talking the reason why you are you can feel it inside your heart. You like to get up in the morning early and it takes you to bed late, and it's okay because you love doing it. It's kind of like, okay, if you can do anything in the world, or rather, okay, let me put it this way: if money was no option, what would you do? And they say that that's really your purpose in life. And for me, honestly, it would be living in the jungle with a bunch of animals. That's kind of, seriously. And I'm kind of heading that direction because I do live in Mexico right now. So it's but it's great because I can work anywhere I choose to. And again, be really, really clear, because you can have a business and you can reach people from all over the world. So be really, really clear on why and what it is that you're actually trying to achieve. And then set a plan in motion with regards to the amount of money that you actually want to make, because that's paramount. And if you don't have that lump sum, what that actually is going to do is, in the long term, it will actually slow you down, and you won't be as productive, or you won't be able to scale as much, because you actually have, you need to know where you are and you need to know where you're going. And the how will naturally explain itself, evolve itself, and come to you, but also be consistent and actually. So if you've been wanting to do to start your own business for years, do it. There's no better time than doing it now. I would rather, when you're sitting on your deathbed 20, 30, 40 years from now, when you're 80, 90, 100 years old, the worst thing you can do is tell yourself or tell somebody else, I wish I'd done that. I wish I'd started that business. I wish I had gone and asked that person out. I wish I had an extra child, or I wish I had done that, than saying, hey, I regret doing that. I rather say I regret doing that than kind of sit on my deathbed going, I wish I had done X, Y, and Z, So it's super paramount that you don't let fear stop you, but you actually use it as a propelling mechanism to take you to where you want to go. Because my fear is actually the fear of remaining the same, the fear of not growing, the fear of not contributing, the fear of staying stagnant. That's my fear.
Yeah.
And that actually propels me to go forward.
That's such a good point. And in mentioning that, actually, today is Women's Day, National Women's Day.
Happy International Women's Day. Yes.
Happy International Women's Day. And, I actually, you just mentioned being on your deathbed. And this morning I got a message that my Aunt Sylvia, who's actually in Guadalajara, she just passed away this morning. She lived a long life, and she had.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Thank you. She had 4 beautiful children. I'm very close with my cousins, and she had a beautiful family business they still run today that has blessed many generations. Now we're, having grandchildren. She has her grandchildren helping in the business. And so that's something she made a life that added to so many different generations and people in her community and all over. So it does make a difference what we do. It affects future generations and how you can live. And she had a great life. So that was something that came to my mind that, so yes.
Well, the thing about it is, and you've touched the point, which is my number 5, and that's leaving a legacy. Again, there's no point you actually doing all this for nothing or for nobody or for no reason. So leaving a legacy is so important. I know we're doing a show in business, but to retaliate it all, it actually does stem from health and from actually having pure health and pure vitality and pure energy in the body, because that is the number one thing. So, as entrepreneurs, a lot of the times our health gets run down because we do the many hours, because we try to do everything ourselves at the beginning, because we might not have the funds to actually employ people, or we may think that we do it better. I know I did. Gosh, nobody could do it as better as I did. Nobody could talk to the customer, when I started my Airbnb business, clean the property as good as I could, advertise as good as I could, communicate with the customer as good as I could. And, I was like doing everything to the point that I had gained like 40 pounds. And I came like this close to hating people in real estate, which were my two passions, because at the age of 14, I started my real estate journey because my mother had remarried, and he was a developer. So my stepfather was a developer, and he taught me everything I know with regards to, finding locations, of finding land or finding a property, knocking it down, subdividing it, building, selling, advertising, all of that. And it was, it was just, you can't do it all yourself. But also, if your health is not there, you really, really, really shouldn't be in business again, because health is the number one thing. So health is actually wealth. And if you don't have your health, you don't have anything else. So, definitely health, being clear, being consistent, tweaking your plan to get you there, not quitting, focusing, consistency, determination, never stopping until you get there, and definitely legacy, because you need that. So you need to have that whole spectrum of it to be able to not just so much succeed. We're talking about, like Tony Robbins says, to have both the art of fulfillment and also the science of achievement. So that's the only way you're actually going to get both.
How about balance? How do you find balance with life? Since you kind of brought that up a little bit.
Meditation.
How do you have the time to do all that? For those listening in, I think especially starting another business or a side business this year, a lot of people have started that. What advice do you have?
Well, look, here's the thing. For me, again, health, body, you have your goals, but also your mind has to be healthy as well. And I recently have upped my meditation game. I used to sort of do it a few times a week. Sometimes, I'd go for a couple of weeks and not do anything, I'll be honest. Then I'd go back to maybe doing it every single day. But ever since I did the Dr. Joe Dispenza's retreat very, very recently, meditation is really where it's at. And I can actually feel, I was a student of transcendental meditation for a really, really long time. And it's a different kind of meditation. So what I would say is your mind needs to be quietened in a way that it works for you and is right for you, in order to get back that energy, or for you to feel recharged, okay? So that you can reboot yourself, so to speak, just like a computer, and start again. So meditation for me is really super important in order to achieve that. Another thing is really, and I never thought I'd see the day that I'd say this, because I was always anti being told what to do and having a schedule. But have a schedule.
We might be related. We may be related, I tell you.
Right. Because if you don't have a schedule, you will always, like, time, we only get 24 hours in the day. So for me, it's like I'm up at 4:30, 5 o'clock. I will do my 1 hour meditation. I'll be done by around 6. I'll head straight to the gym, because I know if I don't do it from 6 to 7, more than likely it'll never be done on that day. As much as I say I'll go, my husband has this thing for doing it late at night. I don't know how he does it, because I always say, yeah, I'll join you later. And every time I do, I never go, But really following a schedule, And I think that's paramount. And a lot of people may go, oh, and I was one of those people, but following a schedule, knowing exactly what you're doing, and you really using your time constructively in order to get to your goals. And here's the thing. And, there were times where I was so militant with my time that if I missed it by 10 minutes, and sometimes I would be so upset. But the balance is really in living. And what do I mean by that? Is really in the actual balance of life. So, for example, working out what's actually really good for your body, mind, and soul, and giving your body, mind, and soul that. Giving yourself space to try different things, different modalities. So, for example, like I said, I did transcendental for a long time. I'm now doing some Joe Dispenza stuff. I also do, like sometimes I'll just search on YouTube, whatever I feel like, meditation, and I'll do that. But allowing yourself and giving loving yourself enough to actually center and sort of say, okay, you know what? I'm really feeling energy depleted right now. So I need to do whatever it is for you to regain that energy. Or, health-wise, I'm really feeling not good right now. What do I do? Okay, well, maybe it's not eating late at night. Maybe it's not eating, that double serving. Maybe it's not eating. I know for me, if I eat sugar at night, I just can't sleep. And I have the most weirdest dreams. That's just me. But I really just can't sleep. And I already have, and I think most entrepreneurs will have the insomniac problem of getting up in at all different times, at all different hours throughout the morning. But I already suffer from that. So for me, it's super important that if I know that sugar late at night is going to get me to not sleep and have really weird dreams, that I stay away from it. So it's kind of using common sense, but it's really listening to your body. It's amazing. I mean, when you think about your bodies and what they do and how much we've poisoned them and abused them and really not taking good care of them. And for our bodies to still treat us the way we are, it's really something magical. And, we don't give gratitude enough, I don't think, not only to our bodies, but to things in general. And I think the whole thing about 2020 and now 2021 is to really get us more connected with not only each other, but with the environment, and actually be more conscious and to work together more as a united oneness than individually, and actually take care of ourselves and, connect. And like you said earlier, family, and just being there for one another, and actually helping, serving the community, supporting the community, because together we succeed as a whole by doing that.
Now, that's so funny, because for meditation, for me, I have to confess, really, I went to India, Tony Robbins trip, One World Academy back in the day. And when I went, I literally got a note. I am so bad. I got a note from my doctor saying I had to get up every hour, because I was like, there's just no way, and that I could actually sit and meditate for long hours. and now I actually do at least an hour pretty much in morning and night. It comes to an hour a day, but it took me years. And I think that trip was maybe 2011 or 12, something like that. And so it's taken a while. So if you're listening in and you're just starting with a prayer and meditation practice, and it's practice. Yeah, a little difficult at first, that does not mean it is not possible, because I was like the award winner for "This is never going to work." Yeah, and it was really bad, and I enjoyed it once I figured it out and how it worked for me best.
And it does work. You just have to practice. You just have to continue to do it.
And then scheduling. Now, I remember the other trip that I took was Donnie Epstein, and we're in the same group, Allie and I. And so Donnie Epstein is this incredible energetic healer that works with Tony Robbins and a whole bunch of people, and does chiropractic energetics, epi-energetics. And so I've gone to his events, and he told me, well, schedule is your fuel, but it's also your drain. So if I do not schedule, I don't like scheduling, but when I don't schedule, things don't work out. And because it's my drain, it's also my fuel. So here's the thing. I work really hard to make sure that I have a half a day off once a week where I schedule, and everything gets done better. Now, I came from raising 6 children. I adopted 3 were mine. So I had these 6 kids, everybody's schedule, running 5 gift stores, doing real estate on the side for fun, and very involved in the community. And that schedule, I mean, I would spend time doing the schedule, and that schedule would go for months. And of course I would review it, but it did everything. And that was back in the paper day.
Wow. I miss those days. I still have my paper diary, because I can't without. So there you go.
Me too.
I'm one of those.
Yes. I mean, and it was, people be like, how could you get all that done? And I was like, you know what? Once that schedule is on, there's no way I could run my businesses, all the employees. I had over 200 employees in all those gift stores, and my 6 kids and all their appointments. There's no way I could have done that.
Scheduling.
Yes,
totally.
There's no way. So that's it. That was definitely a tool, and a tool that I still use today. And this is weird. Okay, so we were on lockdown. I don't know if you all have lockdown where you are, but we had like 3 months of lockdown. And during lockdown, I got very little done at home. Like you would think I would have like redone my whole house and all that good stuff. No, I get more done when I am busy and productive. even
And you have
in
less
cleaning
time.
my house. Yes, it's bizarre. It's like I'm happier or something. I need to have a certain amount, and everybody has their level of activity, socialization, and being involved in the community that they need. And
Right.
so that's something that you need to know. If you're listening and you're still on lockdown, find a way to connect on the phone, through Zoom, through something, to give back to the community, even if it's not a job. That's going to make all the difference. My daughter is the same as me. She's doing full time, like plus 18 units, not 12. And she had to get a job because she was going crazy sitting at home. So, so that's just us. And you have to know, I have other children that it might be way less. They may do way less. They may need more social. And that's who they are. So play to your own personal strengths,
Right. Right.
or if you're a parent, to your children's strengths, to see what works best. Now, Allie, we're coming closer to the end, so I'd love for you to share about how you help people and what exactly you do with your coaching and training programs.
Sure. So basically, after all this time, I choose to work with two types of people. And these are the startups, because I do love my startups. So we were talking about it earlier. It's usually fear that stops them. And I've created my programs that are based on that, where you actually use fear to propel you, to get you to where you want. So fear becomes like your friend. Every time you have that emotion comes up, you just nap it in the butt, and then you just continue forward. And it's usually helping people that are doing their startups get from 0 to 100,000 in 18 months or less. So I'm pretty proud of the system that I've put in place there that actually helps them do that. And the other is to get them from that 100,000 to $1 million, because the hardest part of being an entrepreneur is reaching that $1 million. And again, it's a mindset thing. I mean, both of them are. So, when you're sitting on 100,000 or 300,000 or even 500,000, you kind of go, oh, I want to get to $1 million. I know it's going to happen. But then again, you don't take you don't have the mindset to go, okay, I want it to happen in the next 12 months. And depending on where you're at, it can definitely happen in less than 18 months. So I'm really proud of actually being able to create these systems that help both the startups and also the companies that are making from 100,000 to $1 million, because after $1 million, it's like super easy to scale, super easy to literally scale your business at a very, very quick step. But the hardest is to go from the startup to the 100 grand, and then from the 100 grand to the 1 million. So that in my coaching, those are the two types that I work with. In terms of employees, it doesn't really matter if you are just one person and you have perhaps a coaching business that you want to scale, or if you have, 5 employees. Usually it's 3 to 5 employees that will get into the 1 million and my clientele, but not always. Sometimes they can actually be more, but they could be losing money. So I usually go in and I look at what it is that they're trying to achieve. I look at the current systems, because without having the system, which obviously includes scheduling, like we were just talking about, that it's the business is doomed to fail because you don't have direction. So with my coaching, that's what I like to do. But again, it's I don't just coach business. I also do a little bit of health coaching and a little bit of relationship coaching as well. Purely because 1, it kind of fell into my lap. 2, I actually really, really enjoy it. And 3, it's really nice. I see it as a way of actually giving back. And I'm really, using my experience and how I went from, having no relationship, being a complete swiper, sitting on my phone for 12 hours a day. And I mean, I kid you not, swiping on Tinder and on Bumble, now being married for almost 3 years to the man of my dreams, and having this beautiful, amazing life here in Mexico. So I like a variety of things. I mean, actively invest in real estate. One of my big things right now is to actually invest in the AI world, so in the artificial intelligence world, looking at everything with the way the world is going at the moment with regards to flights. I think definitely airplanes and airlines and perhaps new businesses is the way to go. Because and I don't definitely do COVID to vaccine or not to vaccine, debate right now. But I think there'll be a lot more people that, given the choices of having the vaccine or not, there'll be the ones that will have it, and there'll be the ones that don't. And the ones that don't, because of the ones that are, it's restricted by the whole airline thing, would find a different way to actually travel, and that would be through their own air travel. And I think that's a great, it's at the beginning of the bell curve. And I think that's a great companies to invest in, definitely.
Yes, we're going to have to get some private jets going for sure. That's great.
Absolutely.
Yes. Sign me up. All right. And where can people reach you to get started if they want to work with you?
So they can find me on social media, allymichaels.com, Instagram at ally.michaels, Facebook, Ally Michaels Clark, or just, I don't know, can we put the details? Oh, no, this is live, right? No, we can't put the details. Allymichaels.com, there you go.
Yes, we'll also add the details if you email.
Or contact Sheila.
Yes. And we can add them for the radio show, because this is going to be sent on the air as well. So perfect.
Okay.
All right. Well, thank you again for being a guest on the show, and we will be back after these messages. All right, everyone, stay tuned.
You're welcome.
All right. Take care.
If you are just tuning in, this is NBC's Sheila Mack Show here on KCAA Radio, the station that leaves no listener behind. I'm your host, Sheila Mack, and today we had an outstanding interview with my good friend Ally. And now there's something I'd like to share about. One of the things that really is on my mind when we talk about these different things in life, we talk about business. There's something that is connected that's everything that we do. It's the whole person, the whole body, the whole life experience. And there's so many times where people say, I want to correct something in my business. And the reality is that you need to look at all the different pieces of your life. So you may be doing well in your business, but the relationship is suffering. Or you may be doing well in business and you have no time for health and fitness, or you haven't socialized in a while. So there's this magic that happens when you schedule in time for these different areas of your life. So in my book, I do go over many different areas and experiences that people go through in life. And if you live long enough, you get to go through some of these experiences. So I get into things like really, the whole book is about lifestyle design. It's about reinventing your life on your terms. And when we go through different parts and stages in our life, in our business, in our physical and personal life, in relationships, there's this moment, this time where we need to rebuild, where we need to recreate, where we've decided that enough is enough, or it's time to make a change. Maybe the children have grown up and moved out. Maybe you finished a career and you're ready to start a new one. Perhaps a relationship is over, or you're looking to start a beautiful relationship, or you're caring for elders, and that's parenting your parents, or you're parenting young children. And these are all different seasons in our life that we go through, ups and downs. And so each area of our life, again, I get back to, it affects the other areas. So let's say, just as an example, if you have somebody that's, let's say, I won't say my client's name, but let's say a client I've had in the past a long time ago I was helping with the business. The next thing you know, I was helping with their relationship, because the relationship was suffering so much because they were spending all the time, the one partner was spending so much time on the business to try to save the business, and then there was a lot of upsetness because the other partner had no time, and it was like, but I'm providing was the one partner's result or response. And so when you think about it, the relationship and the home life was suffering, the physical fitness and health was suffering, the self-care and time off was suffering, all to save this business. And the reality was, when they switched things around and when they worked on their personal life, on their relationship, on their love life, on their time with each other, and their time of togetherness and the time to recharge, and they got into a little bit more of a balance and gave that sharpen the saw time, the time to regroup, to recharge, the business got better practically all by itself. Now, I did help with that a little bit, but honestly, it really was that in balance. So look at your life, do an assessment. I do have some assessments on my website that are free. Do some assessments, see where you're at, because you'll be surprised the areas that you're struggling in that may not be connected to maybe the area you really want. I really want success in my business, or I really want success in health and fitness. The other areas affect it because it's this web. We're a whole person. We're not just our business. We're not just a parent or a mom. We're not just one thing. We're so many things, and that's what makes us incredible people. But it's also what brings everything down if one area is suffering. So a challenge for this week is to schedule in some time for yourself, for your family, for renewal, for reflection, for meditation, for prayer, for self-care, for love, for relationships, friendships. Maybe, if you don't have close family, you have friends that are becoming or have become like family. Spend some time with what matters most this week and see how your business, your career, your finances all get better. I do have plenty of free resources on my website. It is being redone right now to something even better, way better. But for now, go to www.sheilamac.com, and there's lots of resources there to get you started and some free assessments. And also in the book, this is a book that is meant to be gone through, not to just read, but there's lots of activities for relationship, for business, for career, and it's all about this whole life and lifestyle design that you get to choose. You get to be the designer of your life. So it is an active book that will make positive changes in your life if you do the work in the book. All right, now stay tuned. I have something else to share. Now, my memory, or my first meeting with Napoleon Hill, was actually back when I was 8 years old, and I did actually mention it in my new book, Bootstraps and Bra Straps, the formula to go from rock bottom back into action in any situation. This was such a changing point in my life. I was 8 years old. I was living house to house. My family was not. My mother and father were having health issues. They weren't really able to care for me full time. So I was sent from one relative's house to the other. Sometimes I was with the healthy grandparents. Sometimes I was with a group of grandparents that wasn't so healthy, and there was a lot of abuse going on. And at this point, I was 8 years old. I remember I was actually in a nice neighborhood. Unfortunately, the home had a lot of abuse going on. My mother was home with me for a short time, and I had taken up some little part-time jobs helping out in the neighborhood. So I would literally, this is back in the day when this was, I guess, the normal thing, I would go help out with cutting the lawn or cleaning and actually polishing furniture when people actually did that. And I would go do that for the neighbors and get money. And so I went with my hard-earned money, and I went over to another neighbor's house who was having a garage sale, and I found this incredible book called Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. And at the time, my little 8-year-old mind, okay, this is 8-year-old mind, there was a lot of abuse, and my mother wasn't financially able to, or health-wise able to help me. She had polio as a child, and she had some other issues going on and emotional things. And so it was hard for her. And in my mind, I thought, okay, this book is going to do it, because it is going to tell me how to think and grow rich. And I really need to do that, because I wanted to get my own house or apartment for my mother and I, so that we wouldn't have to be moving around, and she would be in a safe place and I would be in a safe place. And so I took this book home and I slept with the book. I read the book, Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich, from cover to cover. This little 8-year-old girl, I read that book over and over again for an entire year, and I literally still have that original copy with me today. I keep it on my nightstand by my bed, and I still reread it from time to time, and it has been such an incredible gift. And I think that somehow it was something that the principles in there, I took that to heart, a lot of the principles in there, and I really lived by a lot of that, and the idea of creating a definite plan for carrying out your desire and beginning at once, whether you're ready or not. .com. I have to let you know something, just between you and me. This book is not one size fits all, just like a pair of boots or a bra. So the formula is designed to help you through any situation.
That leaves no listener behind. I'm your host, Sheila Mack, and today I have a couple of announcements. First, I would like to hear from you. That's right. I would love to hear from you. To be honest, I want to know what your breakthrough is, what your reboot is. How are you reinventing and rebooting your life? What shows would you like to hear more of? What information do you need to help you get back on track this year? And to do that, the best way to connect with me is actually through my new YouTube channel, and that is Sheila Mack Show on YouTube. And there you can see past recordings, and you can also see other information and shares that I have. And I would love for you to share in the comments there what you're needing more of and what you're rebooting this year, and how we can help you get back on track.
Is not one size fits all, just like a pair of boots or a bra. So the formula is designed to help you through any situation. Grab a copy of my new best-selling book, Bootstraps and Bra Straps, the formula to go from rock bottom back into action in any situation. It is now available on Audible, as well as on Amazon and Kindle, and at www.sheilamac.com. This is Sheila Mack. Thank you again for tuning in, and I have some homework for you. So go and get your copy of the new Bootstraps and Bra Straps, the formula to go from rock bottom back into action in any situation. It is now on Amazon, Audible, Kindle, and all major bookstores. And get ready to tune in daily as I share the Business Leader Reboot. So that is starting a business, side business, or extra income. I don't care if you're starting from zero, rebooting, starting over completely. We are going to go through the steps over this year slowly together to rebuild, reboot, and reinvent your business and personal life, or your career and personal life on your terms. And I will also be sharing about investing in properties and how to get some passive income going this year as well. So stay tuned.
The Hebo Tea Club's original Pure Pau Arco Super Tea helps build the red corpuscles in the blood, which carry oxygen to our organs and cells. Our organs and cells need oxygen to regenerate themselves. The immune system needs oxygen to develop, and cancer dies in oxygen. So the tea is great for healthy people, and it can truly be miraculous for someone fighting a potentially life-threatening disease due to an infection, diabetes, or cancer. A 1-pound package of tea is $49.95 plus shipping. To order, please visit lovemysupertea.com. That's love, L-O-V-E, my, M-Y, super, SUPERTTEA.com. So the complete website is lovemysupertea.com. Or call us at 818-288-4128, Monday through Saturday, 9 to 5 California time. That's lovemysupertea.com at 818-288-4128.